make people aware of the various beautiful traditional art and crafts which are a part of India. So we not just are reviving them, but we are also making these produce and these beautiful products available to the urban market. So we have some of our key products at this point in time are casa utensils, which are a combination of copper and tin, which is very very healthy for all of us to actually eat in. And then there are board games where we also revive, our methodology of actually playing games, which makes much more healthy than just being on our iPhones, I would say. So these are the various artisans we've supported. India First, our sixth and our final and the most important also initiative is where we are here today, assembled together to talk about. So our session today is what is a part also of India First initiative. Here we mainly talk about not just creating pride into each one, but we also do sessions like Veer Gatha in schools. So we promote and help school students know about it. We conduct various treks to different places, and we have traditional games. Like if you would be going to a fort of Shivaji Maharaj, we would make sure that we play games which are played by Shivaji Maharaj. So those are the kind of activities that we do under the India First initiative. And today, like Poetam Foundation is starting with this India First Nation Building series. And today's session is the first session. We're going to be having this every 15 days happening, and those who would be interested can join us. There'll be, of course, Google Form links. All the other details, I think we would want to take it after the session now, because I'm sure each one of us are actually waiting to also hear and know more about this. So just a quick run, brief back again to our 6 initiatives. This, I would, sorry, can I just request you to go back to the first slide? So under all our initiatives, what we also do is we have these kind of awareness programs, seminars, workshops, which are quite evolving for each one of us. And we do it at different levels. So we also do it for corporates, we do it for schools, we do it for individuals or groups who can, help spread and promote these. So there, what we actually do is these various workshops, and we have already in the past year done most of these. So these are the slides of them. So we've done Ahar Shastra, Aram, Kali to Kusum, a Suvarna Prashan seminar. We promote bamboo rakis, we've done Krida Yoga, we've done under Rang Parse, organic holy colors, then we've done Ayurveda and wellness, we've done Gurukul Shiksha Shibir. So these are the various activities that we have been doing in the past, and we continue to do so. And today's session we again, like I said, a part of these series of sessions that we do. With this, and monthly series, actually fortnightly on India First Leadership series, and these are our upcoming events, which also would be briefed. I think after the event we can show them back again. Okay, quickly now running it back is India First Nation series, as we said, would be monthly, but there is a fortnightly workshop which is going to be on leadership building. So for those of you who would be interested to be leaders in this particular topic or subject matter, we'll have a special series. We have a Green School workshop which is happening on the 31st of January in various schools, coming together at Somaya School in Vidyavihar to have this program to understand how to become and do an audit for Green School. Ayurvedic Dincharya for Wellness is again a session that we have where we brief on Ayurvedic lifestyle. We will be sharing this, and for those of you who would be really interested in getting updates and being sure of our events, we are going to share a Google Forms. We request each one of you to fill up the Google Form, plus add us to your broadcast list, because what happens is if you have not added our number, it is difficult for us to share information with you. So please get yourself added and listed with us on our broadcast list so that we can keep you posted and updated with all the sessions that are happening. So these are the links for registration. We will also forward them to you, but I'm sure everyone has these numbers, or maybe you could click them on your mobile phones for now, and then you can have them. No. Thank you. first session on the India First Nation Building Series, Decolonization of Indian History. This event is being done in association with NIMIT, which is also co-founded by our speaker today. And of course, Lamarck School of Art and Design, which is an institute otherwise into fashion and photography, is the venue partner for where we are here today, is a part of an education center also. Introducing our speaker, Sri Sandeep Shetty ji. So by profession, he is an equity investor and a partner with AS Realities, but independently he is a researcher on Indian history, geopolitics and theology. He is the co-founder of NIMIT, which is mainly working towards spreading true and glorious Indian history. So may we please applaud and request Sri Sandeep Shetty to Along with him, I would like to now request Advocate Kamal Rai ji, an active supporter of Bhavida Foundation, and of course one of our recently conducted very important rallies against the CAA was keenly led and by him, and he's always been one of the very active members here too. So I request him to please felicitate Shri Sandeep Shetty ji. Thank you everyone, and just a polite reminder again to please switch off your mobile phones so that we really don't disturb the speaker and the audience. Thank you.
धन्यवाद समीरा जी। टॉपिक को इतिहास में मुझे एक जोक याद आ रहा है। एक व्यक्ति को मिले तो पूछे आपको कहीं देखा है? नहीं, आपको कहीं देखा है? फेसबुक पे? नहीं, ट्विटर पे? बोला नहीं, ट्विटर पे भी नहीं, इंस्टाग्राम पे नहीं, कहाँ देखा है? बोला मैं आपका पड़ोसी हूँ, यही मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि in today's time what is happening, like we might be very much active on Facebook, social media, many such avenues, but there is a lack of, there is one thing which is missing is like-minded people are not coming together on ground and meeting. So इसके अंदर में मैं चैतन्य प्रभु और कविता फाउंडेशन के मेंबर्स है, भरत जी हैं, मनीष जी हैं, और बाकी भी जितने लोग हैं उनको मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ, क्योंकि जितने लोगों को साथ में लाना बहुत ही एक इम्पोर्टेंट कार्य उन्होंने किया है। और आप सभी को भी मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि संडे का जो दोपहर होता है बहुत ही समय होता है, जहाँ नींद काफ़ी आने का चांसेस है। मेरा प्रयास रहेगा कि आपको नींद तो नहीं आएगा। तो इस स्टार्ट दिस वेबिनार। And especially I would like to thank also all my friends who have come from Gandhiji and Borivali for the and Rahul also for the PPT. Decolonization of Indian history. कि आप सब में से यहाँ पे जितने लोग प्रेजेंट हैं, हिस्ट्री किसका फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट था? स्वामी विवेकानंद ने एक बार कहा था कि अगर सबसे एक इम्पोर्टेंट कार्य, महत्वपूर्ण कार्य अगर किसी भी भारतीय को करना चाहिए तो वो ये होगा कि घर घर जाके सही इतिहास पढ़ाना चाहिए, और वो खुद भी ऐसा चाहते थे कि इतिहास पढ़ाना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो संस्कृति या जो सिविलाइजेशन अपना इतिहास नहीं समझता उसका ना भूतकाल होता है ना भविष्य काल, तो ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है। डीकोलोनाइजेशन ऑफ इंडियन हिस्ट्री, जरूरत डीकोलोनाइजेशन करने का। अगर हम देखेंगे जिसको इतिहास का थोड़ा ज्ञान नहीं है या थोड़ा है भी, तो ऐसा व्यक्ति होता है कि किसी भी चीज our ancestors we always got invaders आगे, और history has been always about Mughals, British and Portuguese and all those invaders, but we never heard of Maharaj Sohail Day। और यहाँ पे कितने लोगों ने महाराज सिंधिया का नाम सुना? Let us start with today's presentation। तो आज का एक अंडरलाइन थीम में ये ले रहा हूँ कि 1500 साल की जो इंडियन हिस्ट्री है, heroic Hindu resistance to foreign invaders और Islamic invaders। तो 632 में मोहम्मद prophet died, and after that Islamic imperialism was at its peak। Within 8 years flat, they conquered most of the Central Asia, right? And from 1640 onward, they tried to invade India, right? But they got success only in 712। वो हम देखेंगे अभी। This is Rai dynasty, 640 के आसपास they stopped the Islamic invasion। 680 और even for 70 years तक there was Islamic invasion which was going on, but they were never able to cross even to Sindh border। ये जो एरिया हम देख रहे हैं सिंध, जो आज पाकिस्तान में है, राइट? ये जो नॉर्थ वेस्ट फ्रंटियर है अभी भी काफी वॉलेटाइल। आपको पता है कि अभी मोदी जी ने तो काफी अभी स्वयं सिविलाइजेशन इश्यूज सॉल्व कर दिया है बिकॉज बाय एडवोकेटिंग आर्टिकल 3। दिस हैज बीन सिंध एरिया है। तो यहाँ के जो राजा है महाराज दाहिर, तो 712 में मोहम्मद बिन कासिम हजाज करके जो खलीफत था उस समय का, he was, in spite of knowing for last 70 years we are not able to reach Sindh, still he was very fanatic guy and he armed himself and he sent his nephew, son-in-law Muhammad bin Qasim, and he defeats Maharaj Dahir। This is 712। ये महाराज दाहिर का नाम यहाँ पे कितने लोगों ने सुना था? ओनली वेरी फ्यू। तो महाराज दाहिर को जब पता चलता है कि इस प्रकार का इन्वेजन होने वाला है, तो उन्होंने लेटर लिखा था। लेटर में उन्होंने ये लिखा था कि मैं आज अपने मातृभूमि और धर्म को बचाने के लिए जा रहा हूँ। अगर मैंने बचा लिया तो बहुत अच्छा होगा, अगर नहीं भी बचा पाया तो आने वाली पीढ़ी मुझे याद रखेगी। लेकिन ये बहुत दुर्भाग्य की विषय है कि हमने भी किसी ने याद नहीं रखा, शायद कुछ लोगों ने नाम अभी पहली बार सुना है। तो महाराज दाहिर loses this battle to Muhammad bin Qasim, and since it is sanctioned according to Islam कि जो भी वॉर बूटीज जो होती हैं, तो इनकी बेटियों को उठा के खलीफत को गिफ्ट किया जाता है। प्रेमला देवी और सूर्या देवी जो बेटी के उनके नाम होते हैं। लेकिन ये लोग क्या करते हैं क्योंकि इनको अपने पिताजी के कत्ल का बदला लेना होता है। तो व्हाट दे डू इज दे lie to the Caliphate, जो बगदाद का खलीफत होता है, कि मोहम्मद बिन कासिम ऑलरेडी एंजॉय किया तो उसके बाद आपको गिफ्ट कर रहा है। तो ये सुन के खलीफत becomes very angry and what he does is he kills मोहम्मद बिन कासिम, राइट? तो उसके बाद जब खलीफत को पता चलता है इन्होंने झूठ बोला, तो इनको वो जिंदा बॉल में चुनवा देते हैं, राइट? लेकिन आपको प्रशंसा करनी होगी कि आप समझ सकते हैं, स्पाइट ऑफ सो मच ऑफ ब्रूटल जो ऑनफोर्ड उन्होंने फेस किया, उसके बाद एकीकी के कैंप में जाना और वहाँ पे ऐसा प्लान करना और बदला लेना, तो ये जो लेकिन बलिदान है ये हम भूल गए। प्रेमला देवी और सूर्या देवी, ये नाम कितने लोगों को पता था? पहली बार शायद सुना होगा। चाचनामा करके एक डॉक्यूमेंट रिटन बाय पर्शियन हिस्टोरियन, तो उसमें इसका वर्णन आता है। 712। इसके बाद क्या होता है? बप्पा रावल, उसके बाद जयपाल, आनंदपाल। बप्पा रावल, इनका नाम काफी लोगों ने सुना है। तो इंस्पाइट मी यूजिंग सेम Rajput and Gurjar kings, they get back those areas. Bappa Rawal, Maharaj Jayapal, Maharaj Anandpal. Bappa Rawal is somewhere around, he is around 8th century. So Bappa Rawal recovers the lost area, जो मुस्लिम पानीपत हमसे ले लेते हैं. और उसके बाद दिस इज बैटल ऑफ पेरिस. ये बैटल के बारे में कितने लोगों ने सुना है यहाँ पर? 1033 और 1033 ओनली वन पर्सन. ये आप देख रहे हैं, मैं टाइमलाइन इसके लिए बता रहा हूँ. तो 632 में मोहम्मद का प्रॉफिट का डेथ होता है. 70 years they are trying to invade India. Since falls in 712, then Bappa Rawal recovers it back and निरंतर they are fighting. उसके बाद आनंद पाल की हिंदू शाही डायनेस्टी. तो दिस इज अराउंड 1000 AD. तो ये लोग भी मोहम्मद गजनवी को रोकने का बहुत प्रयास करते हैं. तो जयपाल जो होते हैं, he tries, he is unsuccessful. Then his son Anandpal, he tries. Still, they are not able to stop Muhammad Ghaznavi. Then Maharaj Sohail. So Battle of Barish एक बहुत important battle है. ये फर्स्ट टाइम इंडियन हिस्ट्री हम देखते हैं कि 70 Rajput kings they come together and they defeat Muhammad of Ghaznavi, that is Salar Masud. And उनको बिगनर ऑफ वॉर भी नहीं जाना जाता. दे जस्ट ब्रूटली वैंक्विश द होल ऑफ एनिमी. दिस इज 1033. ये डेट याद रखना. बैटल ऑफ बेरिस, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट. क्योंकि हमको हमारी ट्यूनिंग ऐसी हुई है कि हर बार हम हारे हुए ये बैटल हमको याद है कि ये हम हार गए थे, वो हार गए थे. ये बैटल जानबूझ के कॉलोनियल हिस्टोरियन ने हमसे छुपा के रखी. बैटल ऑफ बेरिस, महाराज सोहेल देव गेटिंग ऑल द 17 गुर्जर राजपूत किंग्स टुगेदर and then he defeated the onslaught Islamic imperialism. 1033. So this is Muhammad Ghaznavi's time and Muhammad Ghori. 1033 तक यहाँ तक you are together. I'm going to a timeline. 1033 में बैटल ऑफ पेरिस होता है. उसके बाद मोहम्मद गौरी comes. And there is a gap of almost 170 years. Can you imagine? After this battle, Muslim invaders did not dare to come and attack us for 170 years. And from a civilizational timeline 170 years is a considerable timeline. तो ये हमको ध्यान रखना चाहिए. उसके बाद मोहम्मद गौरी comes. And मोहम्मद गौरी को भी काफ़ी रेजिस्टेंस मिलता है. नायका देवी और दैका देवी और बाकी भी बहुत सारे जो गुज्जर राजपूत राजा उनको बहुत रेजिस्टेंस देते. इवन पृथ्वीराज चौहान ही ऑल्सो डिफीट मेनी टाइम्स. बट हमारे में जो ये हमको याद रखना पड़ेगा भाई की सॉर्ट ऑफ लॉस. पृथ्वीराज चौहान could have defeated him and he could have not only sent him back, but we could have also got the areas. I think Central Asia and again all those areas in the area back with us. But the thing is, you have to understand, Islam in one sense is not a religion, it's a political ideology masquerading as a religion. And it's theological fanaticism which the opponent is equipped with. And the level of inhuman barbarity that will come down, our things will never come down. That was also one of the main reasons that we sort of, I won't say look, but we became sort of less effective in one sense. So Muhammad Ghori attacks, he has a stiff resistance, he gets defeated by Naika Devi, Prithviraj Chauhan भी उनको हराते हैं. But with deceit he defeats Prithviraj Chauhan. So again, मोहम्मद चिश्ती जिनके मज़ार पे काफ़ी लोग जाते हैं, नॉर्थ इंडिया में जिनका मज़ार है. One more reason why we are losing is मोहम्मद चिश्ती जिनको सूफी संत और बॉलीवुड में सूफीज़म के बड़े-बड़े गाने बजते हैं. मोहम्मद चिश्ती and Sufis like him, singers and other people, they were working as an intel. They were working as an intel or intelligence agencies for the invaders, right? If you see 26/11 happened in the very town we are sitting in, right? It was never possible without the local support or local intel. But during those times, this Sufi Muhammad Chishti and many such Sufis, poetry and and leaders also, they were giving the intel networks to the invaders. तो कभी कभी तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मोहम्मद चिश्ती और ऐसे सूफी और ऐसे जो लोगों की आत्मा आजकल बॉलीवुड में कुछ अक्टर्स की उसमें आ गई है, वो आर ट्राइंग टू वीकन आवर स्टैंड अगेंस्ट द जिहादी टेररिस्ट. एनीवे दैट इज डिफरेंट थिंग, विल कम टू दैट. तुलसीदास ने अच्छा एक दोहा भी लिखा था जो मुझे याद नहीं है, कि कुछ किसी इफेक्ट का था. वो बोलते हैं कि मोहम्मद गजनी का जस्ट इन्फॉर्म यू, मसूद गजनी का मकबरा अभी भी नॉर्थ इंडिया में है और बहुत सारे हिंदू वहाँ पे जाते हैं कि उनको बच्चा हो जाए या उनकी आँख ठीक हो जाए उसके लिए. तो तुलसीदास ने उसके ऊपर बहुत अच्छा दोहा भी लिखा था कि आप इतनी बार यहाँ पे, दोहा मुझे याद नहीं है लेकिन दोहा का इफेक्ट ये था कि ये सब जगह पे जाते हो तो लेकिन आपका जो भी बेरिश जो जगह है जहाँ पे इनके मकबरों में जाते हो और आप ये करते हो तो इससे आपको कुछ फायदा तो होता नहीं है. तो पॉइंट में इसके लिए मैंने बोला तुलसीदास जी का, यू कैन सी इवन दो इन सब भक्ति पोएट, भक्ति मूवमेंट के वो एक संत है, बट ही वाज वेरी मच अवेयर ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन व्हिच हैपेंड 400 years back. Unfortunately nowadays, no offense, nowadays many sort of institutions, they are very much in their own. They do not have political alertness or relevance. So that is the point I was trying to make. So again we are saying, the point I am trying to emphasize is कि इंडिया भारत में जब भी इन्वेजन हुआ तो always there has been a stiff resistance, right? First we saw Maharaj Gandhi gave a resistance, then Bappa Rawal, then Sai dynasty, Anandpal, Jaipal, Sohail, Maharaja Sohail Dey, and Prithviraj Chauhan also gives a very stiff resistance, even though he lost the battle. So when the north started falling and south revived, Vijayanagar Empire आप लोग सब सुना होगा. I come from a community, a city community, तो मैंने थोड़ा रिसर्च किया अपने कम्युनिटी के बारे में भी. So we have our ancestry from the Nayakas who were like soldiers with the Vijayanagar Empire. So I was happy about that. My ancestors are also somewhere related. Anyway, coming to the point. तो विजय आरण्य करके एक संत होते हैं, तो उस समय साउथ was sort of falling, and even these two kings, Bukka Rai and Hariyar Rai, they were also a Muslim convert. So Vijay Aranya unko he gets them back, he reconverts them back to Hinduism, and he names the area Vijayanagar Empire. Because एक interesting चीज होता है, there was a Vijay Aranya, the guru of Hariyar Rai and Bukka Rai, who were converted to Islam, again reconverted back to Hinduism. Then Vijay Aranya inspires them कि आप लोग वापस जीतिए और ये मलेच्छो, बेसिकली मलेच्छ इज द संस्कृत वर्ड व्हिच इज यूज्ड फॉर द मुस्लिम इन्वेडर्स, की इनको आप लोग वापस कर दीजिए. तो विजयनगर एम्पायर नाम भी देते हैं. एंड फॉर फ्रॉम यू कैन सी फ्रॉम ऑलमोस्ट 13th century till 1565 विजयनगर एम्पायर was sort of a buffer and never Muslim imperialism कभी वहाँ पे पहुँच नहीं पाया. बट ये इतिहास हमको जानबूझ के हमारे टेक्स्ट बुक colonial Romila Thappers and Irfan Habibs, they will not tell you, because the idea is कि आपको साइकोलॉजिकली ये बताना है आपके पूर्वज तो हारते रहे. जैसे क्रिकेट मैच में भी कभी कभी देखते हैं आप टीम क्या बोलते हैं तो हारने वाले भी वाले. तो इट्स अ साइकोलॉजिकल वॉरफेयर which is sort of unleashed on us. So Vijayanagar Empire, it's for almost 250 years it is standing. No Muslim invasion. And it was one of the most. Hampi आपने कितने लोग गए? So even after destroying, after this battle of Talikota, You can see the even the जो अवशेष भी बचे हैं, it is so beautiful. Right? I have been there twice. So what happened in this war is, so 5 Deccan sultanates they come together and they sort of attack Ati Ramaraya. उस समय जो विजयनगर एम्पायर के रूलर होते हैं, राइट. तो अगेन वन मोर थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू ब्रिंग यू, ये जो आरपी नैरेटिव चलता है इस्लाम खतरे में है एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, द उलेमा, द मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड इज अ वेरी पावरफुल कॉन्सेप्ट. अभी रिसेंटली जो सीए इश्यूज पे भी हुआ, तो उस पे मुझे बोलने की जरूरत नहीं. यू माइट हैव सीन द डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन आल्सो, हाउ दे वांट द बांग्लादेशी इन्फिल्ट्रेटर इन दिस कंट्री टू अंडरलाइन a principle. They know it very well. It's the ulema, it's the Muslim brotherhood. So in this war also, if you see, the 5 Deccan sultanates, they come together, they attack Vijayanagar Empire, and what happens? Even though Vijayanagar Empire was sort of kicked away the Muslim imperialism and all, a lot of Muslims were within the empire also. And what happened in 200-300 years? That even though we militarily defeated them, but we never sort of researched their ideology and the deep-rooted imperial bent in those ideologies. So what happened? Muslim archers were in the Vijayanagar Empire army. So on the fatal day, on the final, sort of a very important day of the fight, of the battle, and Vijayanagar Empire was winning. Adi Ramaraya was winning. Adi Ramaraya was winning the battle. What happened? 2 Muslim commanders, Gilani brothers, they defect to the opposite, and with them the whole archers जो उनके थे वो भी defect करते हैं, and that is how Vijayanagar Empire falls. So again you see here, first 5 Muslim sultanates coming together, second the army within Vijayanagar Empire they defect. So that is why we lost Battle of Talikota. So next from 1565 till 1630 was a very bad period for the Indians, basically the Vedic culture or Hindus, because we have seen the north also sort of has fallen down and south also has fallen down. And this one thing. यहाँ पे कितने लोगों को बीच में पूछता रहूंगा बिकॉज आदत है. हेमचंद्र विक्रमादित्य का नाम किसने सुना? ऑनेस्टली आप परसेंटेज आता है तो टाइमलाइन आपको टाइमलाइन के साथ है ना. आई एम गोइंग टू अ टाइमलाइन बिकॉज आज का थीम वही है कि देयर वाज अ रिलेंटलेस एफर्ट बाय आवर फोरफादर्स in defeating these invading forces. That is the theme today. So in 1565 में, there is a person called Hemchandra, born in a Brahmin family, and that time the Muslim imperialism is at peak. He was born somewhere in 1520, not 1565. 1556 is the date of Second Battle of Panipat. So he is born in a Brahmin family, in the same lineage of Parshuram, right? And because of so much of Muslim atrocities, his family leaves and goes somewhere near Rajasthan, and from there he becomes a market superintendent, basically a trader, and then he becomes a trader of जो बारूद बोलते हैं हम लोग बारूद, because he knows the history very well कि बाबर जब यहाँ पे आया था, Babur when he invaded India, they won because they were very much tenants and Barud उनके बहुत ही अच्छे well organized थे. So he was in the trade, he was doing trading of this stuff. And then the Suri dynasty sees the talent in this guy. Suri dynasty का पठान dynasty जो उस समय इंडिया में एक तरह से राज था उनका. And first battle of Panipat, Babur sort of invaded and Delhi का जो सीट है बाबर ले लेता है. उस समय साई डायनेस्टी Suri dynasty देखती है, this person is very talented. He knows how to manage the whole market. He is a very good trader. And from there, this guy, Hemchandra Vikramaditya, from a market superintendent, he becomes the finance minister and the defense minister, both for the Suri dynasty. Even though he is serving in the Suri dynasty, he always has that feeling because he himself is coming from a family which is so much rooted in the Indic civilization to bring back the Vedic civilization and to remove these invaders. So he becomes finance minister and defense minister together, and straight 22 battles he defeats the Mughals. 22 battles. And Battle of Delhi, this is somewhere around 1555, Mughals run away. Just hearing his name, the Subedars of Mughals, they run away. On 1550 and 1555, he becomes Hemraj Vikramaditya. That is the king. If you see, Vikramaditya जो पदवी थी वो हजारों साल पहले लुप्त हो गई थी, and he reinvents that. He becomes Vikramaditya in one sense Chakravarti Vikramaditya of whole of India. Even though that was for 1 year, but you should understand from where this person has turned the tide for the Vedic civilization. And then what happens? Akbar is only 13 years old. Babur Humayun is dead. Akbar is only 13 years old. And Bairam Khan, one of his commanders, then they have a battle, but battle of Panipat. And again, I think it's a battler. Again, Hemu Vikramaditya was winning the battle. Unfortunately, एक तीर उनको लग जाता है आंख में, और उनकी एक तो हाथी के ऊपर जो बैठे होते हैं, हाथी का नाम हवाई होता है, तो हवाई जो उनका हाथी होता है उनको बैटल से बाहर लेके जाता है. But here we see Akbar and Bairam Khan being a Muslim fanatical guy, they do not follow any code of conduct of the war. Hindu Kshatriyas, unfortunately, they had too much of rule books to follow, the army rule books, right? So when he is going out of the battle, Akbar comes there, he orders Bairam Khan to kill Hemchandra Vikramaditya, right? And later Akbar is 13 years old, Bairam Khan is almost 48 years old, so that is the age gap. So he sort of a father figure to Akbar, and Akbar orders, and then Hemu Vikramaditya is beheaded basically in that condition. And eventually Akbar beheads Bairam Khan and carries his wife because उल्लो में चलता है. I won't go further. So 1556 तक आप लोग साथ में हैं? ये तो नहीं आ रहा ना आप लोग. 1556 के बाद अगेन महाराणा प्रताप, दिस इज 1570s, महाराणा प्रताप बैटल ऑफ हल्दी घाटी, अकबर के सामने सर नहीं झुकाते हैं. He is fighting. देखो, one clan of Rajputs like Maharana Pratap, they are always relentlessly fighting, and some clan of Rajputs they become collaborators for the Mughal rule. Mirza Jai Singh, and later we will see. So here also we are saying, there's so much of tough time, relentlessly we are fighting. And period after death of Vikramaditya and Maharana Pratap, from 1570 and after definitely Battle of Kalikota, it is very tough time for Vedic and Hindu civilization because there was no sort of defense in one sense. But at that time, one person, I think it's very, not much is discussed about him, but I would like to discuss about him, that is Shaji Maharaj. So Shaji Maharaj, he was a very powerful Subedar commander in chief, sometimes shifting loyalty between Adil Shahi and Nizam Shahi. But within his heart, he always had a desire to establish a Hindu Swarajya. So he builds upon that. So 1630, so there is birth of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. At that time, it was a very hopeless situation for Hindus. So from there, Marathas changed the tide. Right? You are the time में आपको टाइमलाइन में चल रहे हैं. तो शाजी महाराज gradually he has some जागीरदारी in Pune. So gradually he trains Shivaji Maharaj. At the age of 16, Shivaji Maharaj takes a vow that he will establish a Hindu Swaraj. Right? And he does that eventually. So relentlessly he is back. And what importance of Shivaji Maharaj is, he showed to the rest of Kshatriyas that even though the Mughals are formidable, they can be defeated. And gradually he starts building an empire. From Maharashtra until south, gradually the empire is built. And then again, he coronates himself as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Just to give confidence to all the Kshatriyas across India that yeah, we can do it, we can establish Hindu Swarajya or Swarajya which is free from all these atrocities of the Islamic imperialism. And by 1580s only Shivaji realizes that Aurangzeb is going to attack the Deccan, that is Maharashtra, with all his force, because till that he will not be happy to announce himself as Emperor of all of India. Again we see, again ये और एक क्रांति हमको पढ़ाया जाता है कि हमेशा हम हारते रहे, पूरा इंडिया मुगल के हाथ में था, ऐसा कभी था नहीं. If you see, Assam was always out of reach of any invaders, right? And even in Maharashtra, South, Mughals, yes, theoretically, by the force of their theoretically, they might be the emperors, but most of the part of India, there were indigenous rulers who were ruling India. Again, by 1680, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj starts to improve his artillery and everything, because he knows Aurangzeb is going to come. And on the day of death of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the Mughal Empire starts attacking Deccan, Maharashtra. Even the last diet of Shivaji Maharaj was done in a very prompt, which was supposed to be done for a Chhatrapati, and later when Shivaji Maharaj did it in a proper, in a way it is meant for a Chhatrapati. So 1682, Aurangzeb personally comes to Deccan with the army of 8 lakh. Marathas only have 2 lakh army. Here we are saying Shambhaji has to face the 8 lakh army of Aurangzeb. At the same time, he has to take care of Portuguese which are harassing and converting in gold. Right? So for 8 years, Chhatrapati Dharamvir Shambhaji Maharaj is fighting Mughal Empire. Personally, Aurangzeb is here with his 8 lakh army, and relentless war is going on. But unfortunately, again I am telling, the main problem with our civilization is the collaborators or the Jechans within. I sometimes think the Jechans, the Ambis and all these people, they have been incarnated in most of the leaderships of the regional parties. Anyway, so 1689, Aurangzeb captures Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj by PC. How it happens is, brother-in-law of Shambhaji Maharaj, he wants a jagir somewhere in Dapur. So he asked his sister to tell Shambhaji Maharaj to give him that jagir. So Shambhaji Maharaj tells, how can I tell him? He is fighting, he is trying to preserve the Swarajya in the middle of that. Ma'am, maan nahi sakti. So he goes and gives all the details of the whereabouts of Shambhaji Maharaj, and that is how Shambhaji Maharaj is eventually captured. And then Aurangzeb makes him an offer: you convert to Islam, then you will be, your life will be spared. But Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj बोलते हैं उनको कि मेरे पिताजी ने बताया कि धर्म के लिए कैसे जीना, मैं बताऊं कि धर्म के लिए कैसे अपने काम की आहुति देना है. Right. So there is this again a narrative which has been spread by these left liberals. Shivaji was secular and Shambhaji Maharaj he was bad in habit and all this nonsense. So it is not right. Historians have, because any person, suppose he was a waver, he could not have stood in front of death and directly challenged Aurangzeb. Details we will see later. तो और एक नरेटिव महाराष्ट्र में भी चलता है कि ब्राह्मण and Marathas, there is a divide. Brahmins treated Marathas and all those fault lines, modern politicians. That is why history is very important. Because nowadays what is happening, a lot of these left liberal people, so-called academicians, they give a report sort of how to create a fault line to the political masters, and that is how, if you see, Maharashtra also did this fault line, Brahmins and Marathas and all those fault lines, and South also Lingayat, and all these fault lines have been so sort of activated, and the wrong history is the basis of all those fault lines. So decolonizing our history is a very much important subject from that angle. तो शंभाजी महाराज के साथ उनके एक मित्र होते हैं कवि कलश, इज अ ब्राह्मण, दोनों को साथ में पकड़ते हैं और औरंगजेब उनको बहुत ही ब्रूटल डेथ देता है, बिकॉज इस्लाम से जितना ब्रूटल डेथ दोगे उतना ज़्यादा आपको जन्नत मिलेगा. But that is what Pakistani army did with our Jawan Gaurav Kalia. So again I am telling you, need to understand their ideology. It's an ideological warfare. क्योंकि Shambhaji Dharamveer Shambhaji Maharaj sacrificed his life. Very interesting point here. Akbar started as a brutal jihadi person, but gradually he tones down. इसके लिए emotions and blah 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 whatever song Bollywood makes as him presenting as he is the next Masiha, so that is wrong. Akbar was as brutal or as any Islamic fanatic, but gradually he just goes down because he understands if he wants to carry his empire for a long period of time, he needs to get the collaborators. That is what he eventually does. He gets Rajputs with him in his ranks, which I call Sitaram Goyal, one of the most prominent historians. He calls them double distilled class, who collaborates with the invaders. तो राजपूत को वो अपने साथ में लेता है. Not all the clan. महाराणा प्रताप का जो प्लान होता है वो हमेशा रिलेटिव्स बहुत करता है, पर कुछ प्लान जो है दे जॉइन अकबर. तो अकबर इन दैट सेंस ही वोट द मास सेक्युलरिज्म, राइट, बिकॉज़ लॉन्ग टर्म में चलाना है तो. So 1804 East India Company rises, and third Anglo-Maratha War, that is 1818, the whole of Maratha Empire collapses, and it is only East India Company. But still, if you see here, Veera Pandya, still in 18th century, even after the fall of Maratha Empire, continuity war is there. So from 1818, East India Company becomes very powerful in India. But still, if you see, Baijabai Scindia, ये नाम बोलो. Yes. So now I would be telling a very important and crucial part of the whole presentation. Now I was just going in the timeline.
Your voice is a bit breaking in between. Sorry.
So 1818 Maratha Empire collapses fully, but still Baijabai Shinde, she is daughter-in-law of Malki Shinde. So she tries to bring all the Rajas together and fight against the British from 1820s. She was relentlessly planning. She was writing letters to all the kings. Relentlessly she was doing. She had finances at her disposal. But eventually, in 1850s, when Bajirao II dies, Bajirao II, son of Raghunath Rao, basically grandson of Bajirao Ishwar, he dies. Nana Sahib, who was one of the main heroes of 1857, along with Tatya Tope and Rani Lakshmibai. She takes that offer. She okay, we will try to dislodge British from India. Operation Red Lotus. By the way, this will be our next presentation. Very interesting presentation it will be. Operation Red Lotus is a book about 1857. What happened from 1852? Nana Sahib and Tatya Tope they plan about 1857. See how to kick out British. The whole finances is arranged by Vaijabai Shinde. By Vaijabai Shinde or Scindia. British could not spell Shinde, so they used to say Scindia. Vaijabai Shinde. So now, very detailed planning is made from 1853 onwards. Nana Sahib sends his very important person, close person to UK, London, to take a stock कि कैसा ब्रिटिश आर्मी अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड प्लेस थे, क्रीमिया में क्या कर रहा है, अफगानिस्तान में क्या कर रहा है, so that we can plan our 1857. So this spy goes to Doctrine of Lapse, सबने सुना? Doctrine of Lapse, everyone has heard. That was one of the important tools of British to take control of all the kingdoms of the rajas across India. तो राणा साहब के साथ भी वही होता है, उनको बोलते हैं कि आप तो बाजीराव की पुत्र नहीं है, आपको भी पेंशन वगैरह मिलेगा नहीं. तो वो बहाने से नाना साहेब टू अपने लंदन में पेंशन किया था. दैट वाज एक्चुअल एजेंडा था कि ब्रिटिश ऑफिसर्स के साथ फ्रेंडशिप करके, उनके वाइफ के साथ फ्रेंडशिप करके अलग अलग एरियाज में ब्रिटिश आर्मी की कैसे प्लेस थे उसका डिटेल निकालना. तो द प्लान इज सेट, फंडेड बाय वाइजाबाई शिंदे. प्लानिंग हो गया, ब्रिटिश आर्मी कहाँ पे प्लेस थे. एंड बाय 1857 वो सिलेक्टेड हुआ. 1857 में आप लोग को याद होगा, अगर इसको थोड़ा बहुत भी पढ़ा होगा, तो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वाज ट्राइंग टू कंट्रोल चाइना. At that point of time, their focus was China because already India was in their most of the India was in their control. तो चाइना में उनका फोकस ज़्यादा था और क्रीमिया वगैरह में भी ज़्यादा था. तो इसके लिए 1857 नाना साहेब को तात्या टोपे को सिलेक्ट करके 1857 को हम ये वॉर करेंगे. तो हाउ दिस रिक्रूट की आर्मी इज ऑपरेशन रेड लोटस. रेड लोटस का सिग्निफिकेंस ये है कि एक बटालियन में तात्या टोपे अपने स्पाई के थ्रू एक रोज लोटस भेजते थे और एक बटालियन के हेड ने अगर एक लोटस पेटल फेंक दिया मतलब वो बटालियन पूरे उसके पास आ गई. तो ऐसा पूरा 2000 रेड लोटस सेंड किया. एंड ब्रिटिशर्स थॉट कि इनका कोई रिचुअल होगा, दिस इथेन लाइक पागल गवार लोग कुछ कर रहे, बट दे वर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग. तो इधर 50,000 आर्मी को रिक्रूट किया तात्या टोपे ने. एंड द प्लान वाज सेट कि सिस्टमैटिकली कैसे हम आगे जाएंगे. देन व्हाट हैपेंस, अगेन आर्मी आ गई, 50,000 लोग हैव सेट कि ओके ये डेट पे हम ये एरिया कवर करते जाएंगे. नाउ लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड फूड, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्रिटिकल पॉइंट इन द वॉर. तो अगेन चपाती का एक थैला जाता था एक सरपंच के पास और उसमें चिट्ठी जाती थी कि आपको क्या करना है. आपको चिट्ठी में मैसेज होता था कि इस समय में ये बटालियन हमारी जो होगी आएगी, इतने लोगों के लिए खाना बनाना है. तो ब्रिटिश की इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी को पता ही नहीं चल रहा था क्या हो रहा है. सो द स्टेज वाज सेट 1857. इट वाज नॉट अ म्यूटिनी, इट वाज अ फुल फ्लेज्ड फ्रीडम वॉर. तो जानबूझ के कॉलोनियल हिस्टोरियंस हमसे छुपाना चाहते हैं. एंड फॉर 3 months इंडिया वाज फ्री. बुंदेलखंड से इंडिजीनियस सरकार भी चल रही थी इंडिया की, वो लोगों को पता नहीं है. बट व्हाट हैपेंड इज हाउ कैन वी लॉस्ट द वॉर. So now 2 British officers, Neil and Havelock, so they were given the charge. So they found out कि ठीक है फूड और लॉजिस्टिक्स को कहाँ से मिल रहा है. So they understood कि इनको local villagers करना है. So they killed millions of villagers, बूढ़े बच्चे, women, and पूरा एक एरिया था वो पूरा वो civilization ready कर दिया था. It was an open area. ताकि तात्या टोपे की आर्मी को फूड सप्लाई लॉजिस्टिक्स मिलेगी. तो दैट वाज द लेवल ऑफ barbarity which these people. So again, the Abrahamics are very brutal when it comes, and the army forces. And why? Because Tatya Tope and Nana Shah too, they never realized they will come to that level. And crores of civilians, some say it is around 7-8 crores of civilians were killed. And that is how they won East India Company, won the battle. But again, why 1857? Because if you see Macaulay and Benedict, these two missionaries in a garb of British officers, they were trying to do conversion in India. When we tell Swarajya, Purna Swarajya or freedom, what exactly it means? One is political independence, one is economical independence, one is religious independence. So what happened, once we lost East India Company, we lost our political independence. And gradually what they did with our, how they destroyed our traders and all, I will not go into details, everyone knows that. And gradually they started converting people, Benedict and Macaulay, they started sending missionaries, conversion and all. So that is why Indians revolted with full force. And immediately after 1857, Queen made a charter, East India Company is now taken out and directly Crown will rule, and we will not interfere in the religious matters of the indigenous Indians. So that was the victory we got from 1857. Even though political victory हम नहीं कर पाए, but ये एक victory हमको 1857 में आ गया. Then again in 1871, Vasudev Balwant Phadke, he started a Ramosi movement. And the whole of Maharashtra and the Deccan area, they were free from East India Company, the British. So again, we are saying the theme is relentlessly we are fighting, be it Islamic invaders or your East India Company. So 1871 से 1818 Ramosi movement चलता है. Then 1884 an interesting thing happens. Grand old party comes into existence, that is Congress. Right, in 84. So what happened? Humes, who was also the founder of one of the founders of Congress Party, he was also a officer during 1857, and he knew how close the empire was, East India Company, how close they were in losing the whole of India to Tatya Tope. So now the idea was to have a, now it's anyone's guess, you can take your own interpretations. The idea was to have a subtle or a proxy version of a freedom fight. Right? Congress was formed under but then what happens? Within Congress, Lal Pal trio comes and they believe in armed revolt and aggressive. They are not like moderates, right? And Lokmanya Tilak gives a cry, Purna Swaraj. Shivaji Maharaj thought process comes. Because before that, 1890s या 80s में कांग्रेस was कि हमको डोमिनियन स्टेटस दे दो, बाकी ब्रिटिश यहाँ पे रहेगा तो चलेगा. That was जो moderates थे उनका thought process वो था. But within Congress, when लाल पाल जिनको extremist moderates बोला जाते East India Company extremists बोलते थे, I would say the real freedom fighters, they started coming and they started inspiring Chandrika brothers. Lokmanya Tilak started inspiring people like Bhimrao, Savarkar. Lala Lajpat Rai started inspiring Bhagat Singh, and in Bengal, Bipin Chandra Pal started inspiring many revolutionaries, Baka Jatin and all those revolutionaries. So what happened? British were very afraid of any armed revolt. 1857 जैसा हमको वापस नहीं देखना है. So in one sense, was Congress created as a safety valve so that there is no armed revolt? You can do your own interpretation. So then there was a need for one more proxy. So सबसे ज़्यादा डर ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी या ब्रिटिश एम्पायर को हिंसा से था. तो देयर वाज अ काउंटर नैरेटिव ऑफ अहिंसा, राइट?
So one person from South Africa, he was catapulted into the Indian freedom struggle. And Mahatma Gandhi, many people do not know, he was very much influenced by this theology of suffering of Christianity. वो बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं है. And it is an irony कि such a Mahatma who believed in ahimsa, he recruited and inspired a lot of, he sort of urged Indians to join British in first war of independence. Anyway. So यहाँ तक आप लोग साथ में, or is it too confusing? You are getting the point, ना? Everyone is with the timeline? यहाँ तक समझ रहा है ना आप लोग? हाँ. So now I will again थोड़ा flashback में जाऊँगा. 1857 में वापस आऊँगा. So because it's very important topic, I mean थोड़ा और डिटेल में बोलूँगा. 1857 के बाद क्या होता है? ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी डर जाती है कि ये नेशनलिज्म का रिवाइवल हो रहा है और आर्म रिवॉल्ट हो रहा है. So they required a buffer. So first एक natural buffer is there of Muslim imperialism का, वो तो है. So they start sort of supporting the Aligarh Muslim movement. Sir Ahmad Khan सर उनको बनाया था ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को, आप समझ लीजिए क्यों बनाया था. The idea was to revive this, to use the Muslim imperial forces against the growing nationalism within India. So Aligarh Muslim University, अगर आप डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे, the first chancellor, they were British officers and they were trying to open the fault lines. तो ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि इस्लाम का जो सोशल स्ट्रक्चर है, there is Ashraf, and there is a sort of a medium level Muslim. So who is Ashraf? Ashraf is like they are the pure blood, जो Muhammad Prophet came, जो mullahs and all those categories. And Ajlafs are the converted Hindus. So what happened? अभी आप जरा ध्यान से सुनिए. The Muslim imperialism was on decline after the death of Aurangzeb, right? Panipat में tried to they invited Abdali, but for no help, till he went back, and again Islam was on a decline. And again you see 1834 there was one more powerful mullah. His name was Ahmad Bareilly. He was a fanatic mullah and he thought कि जो इस्लाम का मुगल का जो ग्लोरी है वापस लाना है, काफिरों को कभी भी उठा दूं, मार दूं, उनके मंदिर तोड़ूं, that is their thought process. Sorry to be blunt, but that is what it is. So Ahmad Bareilly, he is somewhere in 1820, he died in 1834. तो क्या होता है Ahmad Bareilly, see the double face. आज भी कुछ लोग सेक्युलरिज्म बचाने के लिए, can you understand this? Whole of India has voted democratically and given a mandate to government, and we have passed a bill which was and there are certain people who are saying that they are on the road and destroying the government property to save the secularism. तो ये डबल फेस कुछ नया नहीं है. तो आप देखिए अहमद बरेलवी was such a mullah, he went to the Hindu kings and he used to tell them कि ब्रिटिशर्स से लड़ना है, ब्रिटिशर्स से लड़ना है, हमको पैसा दो. और मुस्लिम को तो डायरेक्टली बोलता था कि काफी हो सकता है. He amassed lot of wealth and जो नॉर्थ वेस्ट फ्रंटियर्स है, जो बालाकोट है, वहाँ पे उसने ट्रेनिंग कैंप लगाए एंड उसने देखा कि ब्रिटिशर्स से तो लड़ नहीं सकते. तो they tried to dislodge महाराज रणजीत सिंह. और महाराज रणजीत सिंह के जो कमांडर थे उन्होंने उनको हवा कर दिया. He died in his first jihad. Ahmad Bareilly died in his first jihad that happened in 1834 बालाकोट. तो बालाकोट अभी नहीं, उस समय से भी एक उनका टेररिस्ट कैंप का हब था, राइट? So he died in his first so-called jihad against Maharaj Ranjit Singh's command. Then again, to topple Ranjit Singh and the Sikh Empire after the death of Maharaj Ranjit Singh, what happened? जो बचे कुचे ट्राइब्स थे, इस्लामिक ट्राइब्स नियर नॉर्थ वेस्ट फ्रंटियर, उनका हेल्प लेके ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी डिसलॉजेस द सिख एम्पायर. और रणजीत सिंह के जो बेटे हैं दुलीप सिंह, जिनके नाम पे भी दुलीप ट्रॉफी भी होता है, he was sort of in one sense मतलब उनको किडनैप करके उनको यूके लेके ही जाते हैं, ब्रिटिशर्स उनको कन्वर्ट भी करते हैं. He was married to a certain Muller. There was a Christian theologist who was training him in Christianity, and the idea was to convert him into Christianity. And so that is how Britishers were very subtle. Therefore, during Mughal Raj, our Kshatriyas were destroyed, but during British Raj, even our Brahminical intellectual thought process were destroyed. Education system जो इन्होंने लाया. Yes, coming back to Aligarh Muslim University. So Ashrafs and Ajlafs, ये आपको समझो, Ashraf is like a mullah, Maulvi and the preacher class, and the Ashrafs are the converted. So India has been invaded for 1,000 years by these Muslim fanatics and invaders. And in the due process, what has happened? A lot of mullah, Maulvis and all these Ashrafs, they have sort of been here, but they never loved the land. They were because their ideology is different. Then what happens? Gradually after death of Mughal, Islamic imperialism is on the decline. So what does Ashraf, basically the mullah Maulvi class जो है 2%. Ashraf आपको समझ में आता, समझिए आजकल के जो ये ओवैसी और ऐसे जो पॉलिटिकल न्यू मुस्लिम जो जितना करना चाहते हैं, बाकी जो पार्टी 98% मुस्लिम को भड़का के they want to have their Islam culture and they want to have the control. So that is Ashraf, and Ashraf is the जो डरा हुआ मुसलमान, जो हमेशा पता नहीं किस चीज के लिए डरा हुआ है. So now Ashraf did a very tactical thing. The political zamindar or the power brokers of Islam, they took Ashraf in the league and they started an alliance. So that was Aligarh Muslim University, and that was in one sense. That led to partition. And it is not Aligarh Muslim University, it is the very inferior streak with Islam that led to partition. The tragic story of partition वो बुक आपको जरूर पढ़िएगा, PS से शादी की बुक वो पढ़िएगा, कभी हम लोग वो टॉपिक भी लेंगे. Again, coming back to the point.
नाम एक बार और बोलेंगे.
Tragic story of partition.
Tragic story.
So again, I will just give the synopsis. In spite of so much of invasion, ultimately the sword of Islamic imperialism was blunted in India, thanks to first Rajputs, then Vijayanagar Empire, then Marathas. So in north, they were taken care by Rajputs. In south, there was Vijayanagar Empire. Orissa always was out of reach. Lachit Bukar was there. He was Orissa, Assam, वो area, Assam area में कभी जा नहीं पाए. Maharashtra and your Deccan area, Marathas took care, and the central seat of your Agra and Delhi that was taken care by Jats. Islam imperialism was always never continuous consolidation नहीं हुआ. Always they were broken. But if you see UP, बिहार एंड बंगाल, यहाँ पे इनका हम इंपीरियलिज्म का जो स्टिक को ज़्यादा तोड़ नहीं पाए. एंड दैट इज फ्रॉम वेयर इन द रेसिड्यू ऑफ इस्लाम अगेन स्टार्टेड गेनिंग मोमेंटम पोस्ट 1870 अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी. ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है. एंड देन व्हाट हैपेंड? So Britishers also wanted and safety was something the national growing nationalism. So initially they started to help or support or stand the Muslim imperialism, but they also felt that ये लोग तो at the end of the day they are just a nuisance value. So in 1905, even though Britishers ने partition of Bengal का वो भी partition of Bengal separate elected ये सब भी वो किया, but Britishers they reversed it, partition they reversed it. So but here what our leaders within Congress, because of the lack of history and civilizational issues, they thought because they were constitutionalists, they did not have the civilizational depth. But Britishers started sort of not because they felt कि हाँ ये लोग का nuisance value ज़्यादा इनको वो नहीं देना and we will go our way. So Congress thought we will now use the Muslim. We will take the Muslims because ब्रिटिशर्स ने नैरेटिव क्या क्रिएट किया कि हम लोग चले जाएंगे तो तुम लोग मेजॉरिटी माइनॉरिटी का क्या करोगे, और जो मुस्लिम माइनॉरिटी इंटीरियर फोर्स थे तो उन्होंने वो नैरेटिव पकड़ लिया। ये अच्छा पॉलिटिकल हमको स्लोगन मिल गया। तो यही जो डाइट कास्ट हो गया अभी भी वही चल रहा है, आप समझ रहे हैं। तो 1916 में देयर वाज अ पैक्ट according to which Muslims will be held for Caliphate and all. So here Congress thought that we are beating British in their own game. कि Britishers Muslim appeasement करी अभी नहीं कर रही है, और हम उनको अभी करेंगे तो हम लोग दोनों साथ में आ जाएंगे और Britishers को निकाल देंगे। But Britishers were playing their game, and the Muslim imperial leaders they knew कि हमारा तो इंडिपेंडेंस से लेना देना ही नहीं है। अभी what is Caliphate movement? खालीफत मूवमेंट है, टर्की में तुम्हारा खालीफत हट गया तो हम इंडिया से क्या लेना देना है। बट गांधी आई वुड नॉट से ही स्टार्टेड मुस्लिम अपीजमेंट, बिकॉज वो तो ऑलरेडी 1870 अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी के समय से ब्रिटिशर्स ने भी चालू कर दिया था, और 1890 में मॉडरेट्स ऑफ कांग्रेस दे आल्सो स्टार्टेड इट। गांधी जस्ट ट्राइड बिकॉज ही हैड अ लैक ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड देयर ही थॉट कि मुस्लिम अपीजमेंट में करूंगा तो खालीफत मूवमेंट में then independence मिल जाएगा। But then what happens? But he did not understand the game. Here the destiny of Islamic imperialism, first they were sort of a parasitic burden on the British imperialism, उनका हेल्प लेके थोड़ा ऊपर आए। अभी कांग्रेस के साथ भी वही कर रहे थे, because their game was always to have a separate country or a Muslim dominion state. So Caliphate movement को सपोर्ट करते हैं, but indirectly or ignorantly Congress supports a movement which is pan-Islam, and that is a catapult to the time or in one sense it revived the Muslim imperial state जो 1707 में, और उनके डेथ के बाद मराठास में और बाकी हमारे फ्रीडम फाइटर्स ने बहुत ही मेहनत करके उसको वो किया था। तो ये आपको समझ रहा है, you understanding this? So this is the one thing that we lost. And we lost, it is not just a piece of land, we lost, हम अभी नेशनल एंथम भी गाते हैं तो बहुत सारे जो हमारे नदी हैं जो पुल जिनको हम तीर्थ भी बोलते हैं वो भी पाकिस्तान में। एंड रिलेटलेसली 1000 साल के द्वंद्व के बाद, रिलेटलेस वॉर के बाद आपने देखा पूरा महाराज दाहिर से लेके राजपूत से लेके विजयनगर एम्पायर, मराठास तो एक समय में कटक से अटक जो बोलते हैं मराठा एम्पायर था, अटक इज इन अफगानिस्तान। अफगानिस्तान वाज पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया बाय द वे, आपको पता है ना?
Yes, yes.
Because many people have lost that remembrance कि अफगानिस्तान वाज पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया। स्टार्टिंग में सबसे पहला साइड मेरा वही था, काबुल जैसे मुस्लिम इंपीरियलिज्म बढ़ते गया। But we lost, and in 1947 we lost piece of land which they called Pakistan, and we lost Bangladesh. And again the same forces, why history is relevant? Because again the same forces, the Ashrafs and the collaborators within our ranks, they are playing the same game. Why would they want illegal Muslim immigrants here? Why would they don't want a Hindu who is persecuted in Pakistan? So it is the redux of the same game which is played. You need to understand that issue. तो समझ रहा है? तो हमारा सबसे दुर्भाग्य चीज क्या हो गया? During medieval history, during Muslim invasion, what happened? There was class of Hindus which collaborated with the Mughals, and they thought कि इनका जो ये ताकत है, जो तलवार का ताकत है, ये इनका कल्चरल ताकत भी है। तो gradually these people they started in one sense glorifying the Islamic group. They became partners in one sense. Todakmal and many Mirza Jaisingh and all those people, they were collaborators. So again you are seeing Ashraf, that is Muslim, and the collaborators ruling India during the Mughal. ये समझिए आप, वो समझना जरूरी है। ये सीताराम गोयल के बुक्स में Ashraf, that is Muslim rule, and the collaborators. Collaborators यानी कौन है? ये डबल डिस्टिल्ड रेस है, वो हिंदू ही है, but for some reason it is not converted to Islam, but they are very much busy in destroying any defense of our culture. can say the left liberals and many such people, right? So ये लोग power structure, Ashrafs and the collaborators, so they were ruling this part of country. So during medieval period, these people thought the Muslims sword is powerful, and they thought it is their culture. They thought it is a cultural power. And so this class of people eventually became the power structure. And ये जो हमारे रैंक में जो लोग हैं, they shifted sides when East India Company came into existence and later British. Right? ये समझ रहे हैं आप लोग? ये को समझना बहुत जरूरी है. I call Sitaram Goyal calls them double distilled, sorry for the word, bastardized Hindus. जो मुगल के साथ भी पावर स्ट्रक्चर जिन्होंने एंजॉय किया, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी आ गई, उनके साथ एंजॉय किया. There were people like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Nehru, the Thappers, and all those people. The Lutyens Delhi Club में आप उनकी जितनी भी families उनकी ईस्ट इंडिया निकालोगे, they were coming, they were from that place in one sense. So what happened? 1940. So 1940 there was a great famine in Bengal. 44 right. और एक चीज हुआ, अलादीन सिनेमा बना था, and आया रंगून. Subhash Chandra Bose was going to come to India, and he was going to discuss the British rule. And I think Britishers को पता था 1857 में वॉर के लिए लॉजिस्टिकली किस पे डिपेंड करेंगे the locals. So that is why they created maybe the artificial famine in 1944. Naval revolution of 1946 February, आपने सुना है? वो तुमको पता नहीं 1946 में across India there was a naval revolution. नेवल या हमारे नेवल यानी जो नौसेना के जो लोग थे, उन्होंने ब्रिटिश एम्पायर के खिलाफ रेवोल्यूशन किया, बोला हमको आज़ादी चाहिए. अभी सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर, इवन दो ईस्ट इंडिया ब्रिटिशर्स वन, but there was a collateral damage. So they were not able to keep a powerful army in any of their colonies. What is the best thing you can do? If you cannot, जब आप अगर कहीं जा नहीं सकते तो पावर ऑफ अटर्नी किसी को दे देते हो या कुछ प्रॉक्सी बन के किसी को प्रॉक्सी बना के भेजते हो, राइट? मतलब वही होता है ताकि वो आपका काम करे. So that is what Britishers also said. They knew कि and Britishers made a system even if you go the collaborators, remember the collaborators जो हैं यहाँ तक समझ रहे हैं आप लोग? अभी लिखा दो क्वेश्चन आंसर. जो कोलैबोरेटर्स हैं बेसिकली ऐसे हिंदू जो डबल डिस्ट्रिक्ट हो चुके हैं, सेल्फ एलिएटेड हो चुके हैं, या एक वर्ड में बोलो मैकॉले पुत्र हैं. फॉर देम दिस नेशन इज ऑलवेज इन द मेकिंग. दे हैव फॉरगॉटन कि दिस इज अ सिविलाइजेशन जो अनादिकाल से चलते आ रहा है, राइट? सो इन देयर एब्सेंस दे वुड वांट दैट पीपल इनटू द पावर, राइट? So Subhash Chandra Bose was, we never know where he went. He was not allowed to come to India. The idea was कि the proxies या collaborators है ये लोग power structure में आते हैं. That is what Britishers did. Many people do not know कि Nehru was a very big communist. From 1928 when he once came back from Russia, his mindset was communist. And most of the freedom fighters in the Congress were communist minded. And what happened post independence? Lot of these Muslim people who remained in India, they joined Congress. And the communists who were the intellectual who were giving intellectual power or legitimacy to the Muslim League, they also joined Congress, right? So the Mughal British collegium ran through a grand old party in one sense. ये देखिए आप लोगों को दिख रहा है कि लाइव लेक्चर चक्रव्यूह माँ भारती Mother India is here in between. First there is the media. सब वामपंथी और लेफ्टिस्ट लोग हैं. I think it is truly amazing. The open jihad which is happening on the street, which even a blind man can see, they are saying it is done by some innocent students. Right? election democracy, then academia, intellectual. If you see post-independence, our education system was left open for the communists and the Islamists, in the dark of communists, the Irfan Habib and many. There is a whole army about that, right? Then we have judiciary, bureaucracy is there, and उसके बाद में मैं नहीं बोलूँ पता है इंडिया में even if the minister or the government wants to implement something, it has to happen through bureaucracy. And unfortunately, these bureaucrats, anyone here IAS का पढ़ाई इसने किया? I once went to books of IAS and उसमें आप देखोगे history and everything, it is a colonial history. And anyone who reads that, he will come out उसके अंदर कुछ nationalism शायद पिछले जन्म में कुछ बचा होगा तो बचेगा, otherwise he will come as a liberal. It is unfortunate. You catch a general Hindu in this country, you will find a liberal. You catch a general Muslim, you will find a Sikh. That is the most unfortunate. So then we have this judiciary. अब India is the only country which has a collegiate judiciary system. एक ही जो जज है वही दूसरे जज को वो करेगा. Normally it has to be coming from the president. तो एक nepotism चल रहा है. If you remember, for 2014, how Supreme Court तो वो जगह खुल जाता था. और याकूब मेनन and terrorists, right? This ecosystem is not Indian it looks. पूरा आप देख रहे हो ना. तो neo-colonial forces जो है वो they run through this ecosystem and their mercenaries in media, in academics, in political pundits. Just to give an example, there is a certain guy, his name, he was working with UNO, named Prashant Kishore. His specialty is a case study board of party detail. He was working with UNO and Modi also some in the election campaign. He wanted a cabinet, so he was on the door. So he has a lot of regional political parties and leaders, and his game is to how to open fault line. जैसे बचपन से सुनता था कि पूर्ण करो, राज करो, डिवाइड एंड रूल, ब्रिटिशर्स ने यही किया, लेकिन कितना डीप रूटेड है उनको पता नहीं है. जैसे 1857 के बाद ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने क्या किया, जब हम खालिस्तानी मूवमेंट देखते हैं, कैन यू इमेजिन, सिख गुरुओं ने तो मुगल के खिलाफ लड़ा, लेकिन आज कुछ खालिस्तानी हैं जो आईएसआई के साथ रह के इंडिया के अगेंस्ट किया. हाउ कैन दैट हैपन? इट हैपेंड दिस वे. 1857 के बाद ब्रिटिशर्स रियलाइज यू हैव टू डिवाइड. द गेम इज सेम. यू कंसोलिडेट द मुस्लिम इंपीरियल फोर्सेस एंड यू ब्रेक द Indian civilization by creating a fault line. So खालिस्तानी fault line कैसे create किया? Interesting story है. Sorry if I will be going over time, but it will be interesting. So व्हाट्सएप करके ब्रिटिश ऑफिसर था, वही converted himself to, ये सब आप खुद ही रिसर्च कर लेते हैं. So he sort of made us show that he is converted to Sikhism and he go massage for the Sikhs and all that. And he in 1857 was unique in one sense. Because Adil Shah Jafar, the last Mughal, he was also there in 1857 revolution, supporting the whatever the agenda of the Muslim imperialism, that is different. But they were there in 1857 revolution. So Hudson is a British officer who converted himself to Christianity. Sikhism. So he was. So what he did is he killed the two sons of Adil Shah Jafar. रंगूल में लेके जाकर उनको मार दिया. फिर that is how he created confidence within the Sikh community. और एक नरेटिव भी चलाया कि मैं एक खाना सिंह करके एक सिख व्यक्ति है जो कन्वर्ट है क्रिश्चियनिटी में. तो he wrote a book, मैं सिख नहीं, which is 1899 के आसपास उन्होंने बुक लिखा, मैं सिख नहीं. And he was on the payroll of Britishers.
तो आप देख रहे हैं 1857 के बाद एक ब्रिटिश ऑफिसर कन्वर्ट होता है सिखिज्म में, तो बहादुर शाह जफर के बेटों को मार देता है सिखों को ईगो मसाज करने के लिए। ग्रेजुअली एक बुक भी लिखा जाता है मैं हिंदू नहीं, कान्हा सिंह जो ब्रिटिशर्स के भी एक स्कूल है, ब्रिटिशर का ही एक स्कूल है। तो दैट इज हाउ फॉल्ट लाइन इज क्रिएटेड। सेम थिंग फादर केडविन इन साउथ आर्यन द्रविडियन थियरी। अभी देखिए आर्यन द्रविडियन थियरी क्या है कि आर्यन बाहर से आए, द्रविडियन को उठा ये किया। और ब्रिटिशर है कहते हैं तुम्हारा देखो फॉल्स नरेटिव या फॉल्स हिस्ट्री, कॉलोनाइज हिस्ट्री क्या है कि तुम्हारा तो देश टाइम नहीं ना, तुम तो नेशन इन द मेकिंग हो, तुम तो एक होमोजीनियस एक टुकड़ा हो, सब कॉन्टिनेंट हो, राष्ट्र आर्यवर्त भारत हो ही नहीं, टुकड़े टुकड़े कहेंगे वही नरेटिव चला रहे हैं। यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, यू नीड टू सी द लेंस फ्रॉम हिस्ट्री। तो उसको कैसे तोड़ा जाता है? जैसे खालिस्तानी मूवमेंट चलाया फ्रॉम 1860, आर्यन द्रविडियन थियरी फादर केडवेल ने चलाया, यहाँ पे महाराष्ट्र में दलित मूवमेंट करके ब्रिटिशर्स ने चालू किया। And unfortunately, what has happened in a desperation to win election, lot of regional parties are opening this fault line again and again. We have seen what happened 2 years back in Maharashtra, भीमा कोरेगांव, खालिस्तानी मूवमेंट क्या हो रहा है बाकी का पंजाब में हम देख ही रहे हैं, साउथ में कमल हसन जैसे लोग जो एक्टर आगे मैंने जैसे कोलैबोरेटर्स और डबल डिस्टिंक्ट और बास्टर्डाइज रेस, ये सब नमूने हैं उसी के। जैसे करण थापर के जो परदादा थे कुंज बिहारी थापर, he facilitated and gave 1,50,000 to General Dyer. How did we explain this? Because these people were collaborators and they sort of opened the fault line. Khalistani movement, आर्यन द्रविडियन, महाराष्ट्र में देखते हैं कि अभी एक सीरियल आता है संभाजी महाराज, उसमें जो सीरियल में देखा ऐसा दिखा रहे थे कि ब्राह्मण पे रखें मराठा, वो फॉल्ट लाइन यहाँ पे डीटर्स करते हैं। And coming back, so there are mercenaries like Prashant Kishore who are expert in opening this fault line. जैसे महाराष्ट्र में क्या बोलेंगे, गुजराती अमित शाह और ये नहीं चाहिए हमको, मराठी पेशवा है ये CM, तो इससे fault line open करते हैं। There was one lady who was executed by her urban Naxal friend in Karnataka, and she was giving whole report. Basically how it works. These urban Naxal academics, be it Tapolkar or one lady. Gauri Lanki, there is one mercenary, Kancha Ilaya. They make a report and they help the agencies like neo-colonial forces. देखो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी या ब्रिटिश फोर्सेस मरी नहीं हो, किसी जिंदा लूट रही हैं। तो कैसे होता है? ये तो फॉल्ट लाइन्स का एक पूरा सिस्टम देंगे। कैमरी जनरेटी का नाम सुना है, अभी वो तो बैन कर दिया, बड़े हजारों नाम से इन लोग चलते हैं। फिर एक नरेटिव चलेगा। मोस्ट ऑफ आवर मीडिया सोल्ड आउट टू दिस किसी भी मीडिया का थोड़ा रिसर्च कर लो, इवन रीजनल न्यूज चैनल, न्यूज़पेपर और योर न्यूज चैनल और प्रिंट मीडिया और एनीथिंग, सब में आपको कहीं ना कहीं न्यू कॉलोनी, एंड दैट इज हाउ दे पेडल द नरेटिव्स। तो इसके लिए ट्रू हिस्ट्री समझना बहुत जरूरी है। फॉल्ट लाइन यानी डिवाइड एंड रूल ओपन करते हैं। जैसे कमल हसन ने क्या किया, उसने एक ट्वीट किया कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट सब पैसा किसको दे रही है, नॉर्थ इंडियंस को। इसी समय कर्नाटक में सीतारमैया, उस समय में जो कांग्रेस का सीएम था, वो ट्वीट करता है हाँ एवरीथिंग इज गिवन टू नॉर्थ इंडिया बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट। देन आंध्रा में गाड़ी वाले जो थे अपने तो अभी तो रहेंगे तो वो भी उन्होंने भी सेम ट्वीट किया कि एवरीथिंग इज गिवन टू नॉर्थ इंडिया। तो हाउ दे आर ट्राइंग टू ओपन द फॉल्ट लाइन, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस। आपको समझ रहे हो कि हाउ वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट in a multi-party democracy, what happens is most of the regional parties end up becoming a more or proxies for the neo-colonial sources, right? तो ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है। And neo-colonial forces is a new avatar for East India and British initial. देखिए कैसा 1947 के अगेन हम समझ की कि आर्मी आ नहीं रख सकते थे, लेकिन उतना तो है आपको प्रॉक्सीज को बिठा दो, जो डबल डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोलैबोरेटर्स मैंने बोला था। So what happened? During Mughal time, Ashrafs and the collaborators moved. In 1947, it changed. The collaborators became the first partner and the Ashrafs became the second partner. Remote controlled by the new colonials. It's not that difficult to understand. So certain new colonial forces, they will want a certain party in the center. Because यहाँ के policies से AG, UG, 2G से जैसे लेकर स्टैम्प करके, ठीक है, NPA, Diamond Mountain Mafia, you name a thing. Counterfeit notes, yes, सब जो है आयसा के साथ मिलकर कुछ लोग यहाँ पे कर रहे थे, तो ये पैसा कहाँ जाता है? It goes to safe havens, Bahamas, Scandinavian countries, and it goes to Middle East those. And Middle East में हवाला इवेंट्स बोलने मेरे को बोलने का जरूरत नहीं, ISI का वो है, right? So ये जो सिस्टम है, collaborators और अशरफ का जो 1947 रिमोट कंट्रोल बाय न्यूक्लियर फोर्सेस 2014 के बाद ये सिस्टम को एक धक्का लग गया, आपको समझ रहा है? That is why the mullah crisis on the road, remote controlled by Pakistan and certain parties in this country. You need to understand what is happening in this country. You are getting. It is a very serious thing I am telling you. तो एक बार क्या होता है? ISI का चीफ कॉल करता है मनमोहन सिंह को, प्लीज रिग्रेट ये कांग्रेस हो गया साथ में मनमोहन सिंह को नहीं हुआ तो डेट देता है एक्चुअली वो सॉरी टुडे इज 25 नवंबर कर देता है इट्स अ जोक बट यू अंडरस्टैंड हम तब को इशारा करते हैं व्हाट हैपनिंग इन दिस कंट्री 26 लेवल आरएसएस का षड्यंत्र ये तो वैसे ही नहीं आती है तो व्हाट हैपेंड 2008 में RSS started an organization Muslim Ekta Manch so that we can de-radicalize the Islamic forces. तो उसको काउंटर नैरेटिव बिकॉज एक नैरेटिव क्या इस्लाम खतरे में है उनको डराना ही है ना मुस्लिम्स को, राइट? तो दिखाने का तो 26 लेवल RSS का षड्यंत्र वो तो किया ही और इफ यू रिमेंबर कर्नल पुरोहित एंड साबित को क्या दे वर फर्स्ट इंडिकेटेड बिकॉज द आइडिया वाज टू कीप दिस इस्लाम खतरे में है. तो अशरफ एंड द कोलैबोरेटर्स का जो पार्टनरशिप है ये समझिए आप लोग क्या चल रहा था इस देश में. 2014 के बाद व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इन दिस कंट्री, द साइलेंट मेजॉरिटी, you and me, we understood to some extent what was happening in this country. We gave the full majority for the nation rising above caste lines, which the opponent want. He wants to keep you Bania, he wants to keep you South Indian, Maratha, Peshwa, Brahmin, Jat or Lingayat. We need to be united. So history, decolonized version of Indian history is very important. You are understanding this? तो इसको काउंटर नैरेटिव करना बहुत जरूरी है. समर्थ रामदास ने शिवाजी महाराज को मूल मंत्र दिया था. हिंदू सोसाइटी अगर अवेकन और काफी होना है तो एवरी हिंदू नीड्स टू बी सोशली सेंसिटिव, पॉलिटिकली अलर्ट एंड स्पिरिचुअली एब्सॉर्ब. खाली ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब माला लेके चले गए जंगल में, अर्जुन जी वही करना चाहते थे लेकिन उनको बोला था कि तुमको लड़ना है. तो हमको देखो बॉर्डर में जाके लड़ने का उतना सौभाग्य तो नहीं है, लेकिन ये जो सटल वॉरफेयर हो रहा है पॉलिटिकली अलर्ट रहना बहुत जरूरी है. ये पूरा डायनामिक इतिहास समझना बहुत जरूरी है. पोस्ट 1947 सिटी ऑफ लंदन बिकेम द फाइनेंशियल हब. पूरा पैसा अभी अफ्रीका के बहुत सारे कंट्रीज है उनके जीडीपी से उनके जीडीपी का जितना डेट, जीडीपी या डेट जितना है, जो डेट है डेट, उसके डेट से 5 गुना ज्यादा पैसा अभी की इससे एविडेंस में पड़ा हुआ है. सेम कोर्स भी किया. एनपीए इशू क्या था? पटन कल्चर में पॉलिटिकल पैटर्न नहीं होती, इसको गेट मनी वो देना ही नहीं है. एकेडमिशियंस पूरे लेफ्टिस्ट कैपिटलिस्ट इस देश में पॉलिटिकल पैटर्न में लेके किसी को आगे आने नहीं देंगे, राइट? बजाज ने तो ऐसा कर दिया था कि हमारा ही स्कूटर चलेगा बाकी किसी का चलेगा नहीं, राइट? So you understand what type of man? So in one sense, I would say 2014 is our independence, political independence. Now the onus is on all of us to give it the economic independence and the religious independence. Why should we be apologetic? We should be proud of our forefathers, the heroes, from Maharaj Dahir, from Maharaj Jaipal, Maharaj Anandpal, Prithviraj, Maharaj Sohail, Vijayanagar Empire, Shivaji, Dattaji Shinde, सदाशिवराव भाव, तात्या टोपे, रानी लक्ष्मीबाई, नाना साहेब, चापेकर ब्रदर्स, वीर सावरकर, इनके बारे में नहीं सच की. And role of Savarkar is important because once we saw in 1920 में the Constitution of Congress, if the Islamic imperialism is telling them to sit, the Congress will crawl, and if they would crawl, they will go beneath the. That was what was happening. That is the same thing which is happening. Direct इलेक्शन में लिखा भी गया था ना CA के